the Visayan Super Saiyan, probably one of the strongest players to come out of the Visayas region. You see his picks there. His Steve, honestly, one of our co-commentators, Hottie, said his Steve is probably way scarier than it looks.
It definitely is compared to his Kazuya, at least that is. But Vermilion apparently used Julia Chang against AK the last time that they met, and if I recall correctly, he did get the win. But the game record as it stands, 10-10, exactly even between these two.
I mean, if you are Vermilion, you have to be happy, right? You have an equal record. Yeah, there he is. He's really happy. He's looking really good. So does AK. Two of the brightest spirits that I've ever seen in the Tekken community. But when it comes to the game, like they become totally different.
Totally different, and they become super serious, and they just want to give everything here in this match, even though they have already pretty much secured a spot in the playoffs, since these two are actually the second and the third place in the rankings. So there's not going to be much difference when it comes to when they gain their points or lose some points in this match. But still, as we mentioned earlier, Dr. Jimmy, they either want to find a good spot for the playoffs, or just maintain the mental state of actually being in a heavy competition.
Yeah, and this is also probably, if their placings do not change, a preview of upper bracket semifinals between these two. Should they remain the same, they might meet each other in the second round. So this is a great way to set the precedence for what could happen in the playoffs. So I think AK has incentive to perform well against Vermilion and vice versa.
And of course, there's just, of course, getting revenge in general, because Vermilion did get the win against AK earlier. So I wonder if that Devil Jin actually was a message to Vermilion, especially since we've also seen Vermilion on that Jin Kazama then. The very crazy Jin Kazama that just keeps washing clothes with his stands.
I mean, yeah, it could probably help him warm up for going up against Jin or Devil Jin, because using them, you get a better understanding of those characters and what weaknesses they may have and what strengths they have. And that may be his way of preparing to go up against Vermilion, who is his potential second round opponent in the playoffs. So yeah, this is going to be super fun. Still a lot on the line for these two. I mean, switching places, going from second to third place is still pretty big. Vice versa.
It's at the same time, you're just making your mark on the second season of the Nationals. After all, you want to find your name up there. Look, I'm at the top. Maybe I can get a chance to get even higher. Dojin, actually, the other Eagle, has yet to be dethroned from the number one spot so far after 8 days in the Nationals. So getting to that second place spot is definitely one way to get closer to that goal.
Yeah, Dojin is sitting right there at the top of the mountain, almost untouchable, and here we have it. Whoa.
Oh, interesting pick. Crazy pick, actually. AK returning to that Devil Jin against Vermilion, of all people, and Vermilion opting for a Geese Howard, bringing back shades of his previous teammate in the previous season, Machine Head.
Right, probably Machine Head passed on his chips and cogs and nuts and bolts for him to use and utilize this Geese going up against this Devil Jin.
Interesting stuff here. So let's see. Both players actually backing away, trying to see first what the other is going to do. So a bit of patience play here, but now both of them slugging it out in the center. Well, there is no center of the stage, but still, AK getting a combo here, returning the damage against Vermilion.
Yeah, that was amazing anticipation there from AK. He was just standing there, and it was almost like he knew that Vermilion was going for that jump attack right there.
Something to expect of yet another 2D character. Now AK with a wave and getting that tail sweep as well. Vermilion, how does it feel to be on the other side?
Getting a taste of his own medicine, but giving AK a taste of his own medicine, doing the wake up 4 and going into the combo.
17 seconds left. AK has no time for this, but there is the Rage Drive. Serious damage coming in. The Electric comes out. He's gonna go for the Heaven's Door, of course. No, I think he doesn't have the life advantage here, but that low from Vermilion is going to crush that high, and AK falls down by 1 round. Vermilion up by 1.
Right, really great start there for both players. Actually, super even, but Vermilion now bringing on the damage.
When Geese has that max mode, you gotta have to be careful. AK right now in a huge disadvantage, already in the red. Tried to go for the sidestep and the power crush, but doesn't get anything out of it. The F1 comes in. Vermilion trying to close it out, and that down four should do the trick. Yes, 2 rounds for Vermilion.
And despite the recent the meter nerf on Geese, he still is really powerful. He still deals some of the highest damage once he builds that meter. And every time he can get rounds without using meter, that's basically a bonus.
That is definitely the case. It would be really terrifying if he gets the full 3 bars on this Geese Howard. But AK trying to not let that happen here. Trying to fight back, gets a flash punch, and knocks away Vermilion.
Right, AK now with the advantage. He has a little high-low game going on right here. But again, Vermilion has 1 meter. Will he spend it?
There it is again. The get up into the instant screw from Vermilion. Is he gonna go for the deadly raise here? Is he gonna go for the finish though? There are some options here. He does want the damage. AK not quite in the red, but Vermilion only a few hits before he's taken down. 20 seconds left. The jab zones out. AK goes for the Eagle Claw here, and AK backing away, trying to get the patience play this time around. Oh my goodness, the down 2 comes and the sidestep from Vermilion and catches AK. Vermilion showing that he knows how to fight against his own character. Amazing work with that first match.
Sidestep left is the key. And that is what got him through that door. Now he has the first game. AK looked like, he made the smart play, backing off, trying to find means or a way for Vermilion to hang himself. But Vermilion was just so calculated on his approach there. And that got him the win for this first game. And is AK gonna go back to the regular Jin?
That is going to be very strange of a choice, but considering how he chose in the previous match that he was in, that there is a good chance that he might, or maybe some other pick that he wants. And as we mentioned earlier, not quite a lot of consequence when they do lose points here because they are in the top parts of the rankings, but still they don't want to go down just like that in the final days of the Nationals. They're going to be bringing it out, and if he's going to go for that Jin pick just to show that he does know how to use it, then I think this is the time to do it.
It's really hard to imagine what's going through the heads of these pro players. Because a lot of them are doing things that we never expected them to do. A lot of things that aren't interpersonality or things that we just couldn't see.
Should help out a lot because of course Geese has those strings that are more or less predictable when he starts using them.
Right, it's all up to AK to see that coming and to be ready with the punishes, with the optimal parry, knockdown punishes, and the wake-up game. Get that high-low going, right? And of course, be careful once Geese gets that first bar.
Something to consider for AK and to keep in mind, of course. So let's see, Vermilion versus AK, Twilight Conflict number 2, and Vermilion up by 1 match. And immediately, a huge flurry of low attack there from Vermilion, working its way towards AK's defense.
He spent the good 5 seconds of the start of the round just on his knees there and dealing so much damage now with this Geese.
AK missed that punish there, a little bit too ambitious with that Rising 2. Gets the Switchblade here, tries to go for the unblockable, shaking things off a little bit against Vermilion, but that jab string from Vermilion is going to close things out. 1 round towards him, and AK still shaky on this Jin.
The Jin pick not looking so good. Though he's starting out really well, but can he maintain this? That's been the story for the past 2 games.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is when it comes to switching characters as well, because you have to readjust your gameplay with this. Of course, he's played Jin in the previous match, so he has some things to consider already. He probably has a list of notes, but here comes the God Kick, putting pressure on Vermilion. AK trying to stare him down, sticking him in the corner. Oh my goodness, here comes the strings. Good jab there from AK, floats Vermilion out of the air, and the Savage Sword finishes him off 1 round apiece.
That is his first round in this entire set, if I'm not mistaken. And that might be a great sign for AK, with this Jin and moving on, with this 3rd round.
This is definitely the momentum that AK wants, and now he's pushing Vermilion all the way back to the same corner that he put him in earlier. The lows are coming in. Vermilion is not blocking it.
One more.
My God, how many are going to connect against Vermilion here? Tries to go for the jab string here, try to escape, but there it is. Just a quick anti-air from AK, so that was a crazy round.
AK feeling a little bit like Maru going for those 5 stature kicks in a row. We did see Maru do that with Ana earlier on, but he's still pressing the issue with the stature kicks.
Yeah, against Vermilion, no less. But now Vermilion, of course, unfazed, piling on the damage once again. AK gets that Magic 4 against Vermilion. Going to be able to carry all the way to the wall, break the balcony. Not quite, but yeah.
Great blocks there from Vermilion. Really ready with all the punishes with the geese right now, but life is even. AK just needs one good hit to seal it.
Same with Vermilion, actually, considering he does have that 1 meter. 20 seconds left on the clock here. Both players being very patient, not quite engaging. The stature kick comes out. The low, the max mode is in. Oh my goodness, the whiff from AK. Both players trying to find the hole, and the stature kick from LPE.AK, and it's one match apiece.
AK set that up entirely. Like in the previous round, he did 5 straight of that. He made Vermilion think, you know what? I don't think he's going to do that again. I'm not going to be prepared. And AK just really pouring on with the mind games there in that round, and with Jin nonetheless. What a win there. That's a statement, in my opinion.
It certainly is, especially with the character choice against Vermilion. Talagang isa to sa mga naging character ni Vermilion. When it comes to Mishimas, you would know that he does have this character, though it's not one that he usually favors. But still, that was a very peculiar Jin when it comes to AK. And I think the consecutive stature kicks that we saw, yung limang magkakasunod na lows, those are just shades of AK playing his usual playstyle but with a different character. Just piling on mind games, keeping it simple with just mids and lows, and going back to the main core gameplay of Tekken.
And I think that's the essence of what he's doing, switching back to these Mishimas, because Mishimas are considered the what word am I looking for? The normal archetype for Tekken 7. And I think probably what he's doing is, okay, let me take this back to the basics. Let me just polish all of my fundamentals and get myself ready for the playoffs. If I get wins along the way, that's great. But look at this.
Oh my goodness, yet another surprising pick coming in from these two players. Vermilion with that Zafina. So definitely not a Mishima. We won't be seeing any wave just yet with this character. But the stances will be a big threat against AK, and I wonder if Vermilion actually has a good grasp enough of this character to play her as effectively as she could be.
And we did see this Zafina pick yesterday when AK went up against Maru. Maru went for Zafina and took that match 2-1. So, how can AK fare better using Jin rather than Kazumi? Let's find out.
Already an explosive start, but AK did miss the conversion afterwards. Vermilion responds with a combo of his own. Very quick flurry in the first 10 seconds of this match here. Now both players slowing it down a little bit, keeping that space going. Of course, Zafina, one of the characters with the best movement here in this game, just tapping away with those heels on the stage, and just, of course, shaving away at AK as well. AK already in the red.
I mean, this is really weird for me to watch Vermilion play Zafina, because we're used to seeing Vermilion just wave dash right forward, but now he's back dashing all the way.
Yes, back dashing and just waiting for AK to, as you mentioned, just make a mistake here, and immediately good punch from Vermilion. AK, however, with a Hulk fist, not phased by any of that in the previous round, but still getting the damage in here. Savage Sword.
Ooh. That's just one of the best enders there for any Jin combo at the wall. But Vermilion now giving his response.
But of course, the damage is in AK's favor here. He has the life advantage, and he has Vermilion against the wall as well. That DF2 a little bit too far for Vermilion, misjudging the distance, and AK with the response and the punish afterwards. Fantastic work, 1 round apiece.
Optimal damage, optimal combos. AK is definitely not new to this Jin pick, and he's showing it right there.
The more that he plays this character, the more that he remembers what he has to do, and slowly but surely, the Jin is actually evolving here. He's pressing the offense against Vermilion, and Vermilion is on full defensive right now, despite the movement advantage of Zafina. AK piling it on. Here comes the lows, however, and AK is now in the red.
I mean, the walls are really coming into play here for AK. Oh, that was so close.
A good recovery, but still Vermilion manages to close it out, and now 1 round away is Vermilion from taking this whole thing.
Mid-mind games right now coming from Vermilion. Let's see if that'll come into play as this round winds out. AK needs one more win to try and tie things up.
Stature kicks comes in once again, but Vermilion with the GF2, the uppercut from
Oh,
Zafina misses the wall carry, but and AK responds with a combo on wake up.
and I like what AK did right there. He was sure he would drop the combo, so instead he just waited for the wake up.
Just waited indeed, and AK misses the punch once again, goes for the rising four this time around. Vermilion, both of these players quite unfamiliar with the punishes apparently. 25 seconds left on the clock, both players with almost equal life here. There's a hook fist coming in. Vermilion backing away, going for the small poke. AK in the red, the rage drive comes out. What's the mix up here? Hook fist comes in, 15 seconds left. The god kick once again comes in. Vermilion with the rage here, and the DF1-4, and AK hangs in there. Down to the final round.
Wow, that was such a nerve-wracking final fourth round there. But here we go, final round for these two. Who's gonna take it?
AK already in a bad spot here. 50 seconds left on the clock, and already more than half health gone. Vermilion wants to keep the advantage here, but still he's pressing on the offense. He wants to finish it quick. He'll give AK any time to think. The jab comes in, dominating heal, and a quick flow, and Vermilion takes it 2-1 against LPE.AK.